Complete the table so that each row has a description and two different expressions that answer the question asked in the description. A second expression should use only multiplication. Be prepared to explain how the two expressions are equivalent. So our first description is a one-night stay at a hotel in Anaheim, California costs $160. Hotel room occupancy tax is 15%. What is the total cost of a one-night stay? So we've modeled this as the $160 for the cost of the one night plus the tax, which is 15% of the 160. So we can factor out the 160, and there's an invisible 1 right there. So this could be 160 times 1.15. Our second description says, teachers receive 30% educator's discount at a museum. An adult ticket costs $24. How much would a teacher pay for admission into the museum? So we would start with the original ticket price of $24, and then we would be subtracting from that our discount, which would be 30%, which we can represent as 0.30 times 24. And then when we simplify that, we get 0.7 times 24, or the other way around, 24 times 0.7. Our third description says, the population of a city was 842,000 10 years ago. The city now has 2% more people than it had then. What is the population of the city now? So we can start out with our original population, 842,000, and it has 2% more, so we're going to add on to that 0.02 for 2% of our original population. So this gives us the 842,000 again. Now, just like we did in the first one, there's an invisible 1 right there. If we factor out the 842,000, we can take 842,000 and do 1 plus 0.02, which would give us 1.02. Our fourth description says, after a major hurricane, 46% of the 90,500 households on an island lost their access to electricity. How many households still have electricity? So let's see, since we start out with 90,500, and we're losing access, so that would be subtraction, and then we're losing 46% of that, so that would be 0.46 of our 90,500 people. There's an invisible 1 right there. We can factor out the 90,500 to get 90,500 times whatever 1 minus 0.46 is, and if you want the calculator for that, you would get 0.54. This one does not have a description, so we have to write our own. So let's pick just whatever. Let's use maybe a lake. A lake has an area of 754 square kilometers. And then let's see, we have a really hot year and it dries up. It loses 21% of its area. So how much area is left? So let's write that out. A lake has an area of 754 kilometers squared. It loses 21% of its area due to drought. Due to drought. How much area is left? Okay, it's a little tight squeeze in there, but we got it. Now, just like in the earlier ones, there's an invisible 1 there, which we can factor out. So we can have 754 on the outside, and then whatever 1, let's do this. 1 minus 0.21 gives us 0.79. And then our last one, this one doesn't have either of the expressions. 2 years ago, the number of students in a school was 150. Last year, the student population increased 8%. This year, it increased about 8% again. What is the number of students this year? So we can model this by saying we start out with 150, and then we add on to that 8% of 150. And then we're going to be actually adding on to that 8% of the previous year's population. So this is going to be 8% of the 8%, let's start here, of the 8% times 150. Now this would actually be the same thing as starting out with 150 and then increasing by 8%. This would be increasing by 8% one time. Then if we raise this to the second power, that would increase it by 8% two times.